Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Club Leader Development Series for November. Thank you all for being here in person. February, I don't know why my slide says November, apparently. I copy and pasted maybe. So February, totally February. Whew, what a day. So welcome. Excited to have you guys here to talk about incorporating the missions of 4-H into club meetings. And we will get started. Our agenda for tonight is going to be what are the mission areas of 4-H? Why should we incorporate them? A little bit of history of how we have been incorporating them in Hendricks County 4-H. An introduction to some of our mission coordinators. A little bit of a review about upcoming opportunities related to the missions, and then resources for you as club leaders. So, as a reminder, we've started every event that we've been doing with our mission of 4-H, and it is to provide real-life educational opportunities that develop young people who will have a positive impact in their communities and in the world. And all of our mission areas reflect that mission as well. So, our mission areas are STEM and agriculture, healthy living, civic engagement and leadership, and we have an unofficial one, which is college and career preparation. Tonight, we're going to focus on the top three, which are going to be STEM, healthy living, and civic engagement. Those are like the main ones 4-H focuses on. As a 4-H educator, every year we are encouraged to have goals related to all of these areas. And so a way that you guys help me reach a goal is incorporating some of these activities that we're going to talk about tonight in your club meetings as well. So why incorporate the missions? It helps youth learn new things, try new things. It engages new audiences because especially with some of the new events that we've been doing in our mission areas, we've been able to bring in some new people so that they could see a different side to 4-H rather than just the fair. It reiterates the founding purposes of Extension and reflects the mission of 4-H, and it helps grow our youth. So all of the areas that we're going to talk about tonight are going to help develop our youth in various ways. So a little bit of the history of Hendricks County. I started here in 2015. We have been doing mission stuff. I mean, missions in 4-H have been around for a while, so I'm sure there was stuff that was done before me, but I'm going to focus on what we've done since I've started here. Some programming was included when I started. The big one that really took off when I got here was robotics, so that's related to our STEM program, our STEM mission areas. About 2017, we really started to have our mission coordinators take shape, and those are volunteers we'll talk about in a little bit. 2018, we participated in National Day of Service, and we tried some new STEM programming. And then 2019, we had an awesome year last year with our missions. I mean, just awesome. We bumped up our STEM programming, our civic engagement programming really increased. We had a lot of other healthy living activities available, both at the county and the state level. So it was just really exciting to see the mission areas growing last year. And we have lots of programs planned for the 2020 year. So excited to share some of those with you as well. So what is a mission coordinator? It's a screen volunteer who helps implement specific programs related to one of the mission areas. So in Hendricks County, we have, for civic engagement, we've got Scott McAdams, who's going to come up and speak in a little bit. For our STEM, we have Patty Breslin and Raul Sarkar, and Patty's going to come up and speak a little bit. Since she's a club leader, this is something she has been leading the way with some of our STEM club programming. And then our healthy living person is to be determined. Still on the lookout for a healthy living person. So as we talk about that mission area tonight, if that's something you're interested in or you know somebody that would be a fantastic coordinator, let me know, and I'd be happy to make some of those connections. So first, we are going to talk about civic engagement, and I'm going to have Scott come up, and we've totally planned all of this, as you can tell. It's great. You want me to just kind of start, and then you can hop in wherever?
Absolutely.
Awesome, because you're awesome. All right, so civic engagement, this is according to national 4-H guidelines. It's working to make a positive difference in one's community and developing the combination of knowledge, skills, values, and motivation scales to make that difference. So those topics that are also included in there are community engagement, service, civic education, and personal development. So those areas all encompass our civic engagement mission area. This is the logo for True Leaders in Service. It's a national 4-H campaign. This is something, especially in April, you'll see come out when we start talking about National Day of Service. So the True Leaders in Service is something National 4-H has been putting on, and they'll really hit it hard in April about giving back to the community, and you'll see this logo come out on social media. There might be billboards around, kind of depends on what National 4-H does, but this is a logo that National 4-H developed. So what we've done, civic engagement in Hendricks County, we've done National Day of Service, and we've done community service projects. So as club leaders, I'm hoping a majority of you guys have participated in some sort of community service program within your club, and that could be as simple as bringing food in to donate to a food pantry. Maybe you help out at a park, plant flowers. Maybe you go to a nursing home. I've seen and heard of all sorts of different community service projects that our clubs are doing. And then we have our team kit activities. So all of you should have a little tote with team kit activities in it that are grab and go related to civic engagement. That's one of the mission areas in there. So I'm going to turn it over to Scott about maybe what's coming up.
Awesome.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to give do I need a clicker? You have multiple pages in it.
Maybe. So when you click, I have to click this one.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. What? Maybe I'll have the clicker.
I've broken it. Back to the computer conversation we were having just a few minutes ago. So, first of all, I'm Scott McAdams. I know some of you in the room. Some of you I've worked with for a while. I actually work for Starbucks. I'm a senior manager for facilities. We also do a lot of community involvement from a Starbucks corporation as well, so it blends over well. I have my kids are involved in 4-H. I have a 10-year 4-Her who went on to Ball State this year, and it was awesome to kind of hear one of our first job interviews of, oh, you're a 10-year 4-Her? I should hire you right now. That was a quote from where she went to work, which I think is great when you think of kind of getting folks involved and those pieces. From a kind of day of service, that's where I have been helping Katie out, kind of helping 4-H out, super passionate around that. And I would tell you, I think it's been limited, and I think we have this awesome opportunity to kind of expand it. We've had maybe 15, 20, 30 kids. We have planted trees. We have built birdhouses. Surprisingly, the one thing that they love to do is get down in the creek and pick up trash. It is like the top preferred item. And so I think building on that, we're coming up on Day of Service on the 25th, right? And starting to get out to club leaders of how do we get your folks involved, right? What can we do? What can I do? To help promote. How do we make it fun? Do we need water balloons? Do we need, wading boots? Do we need whatever we need to do to kind of get folks out there? The other piece would be, what ideas do you have, right? How can we leverage either myself, Katie, or leverage the community in different ways to be able to promote what we do? There is a wonderful opportunity out there. 4-H has a flywheel effect at the moment. So more people at Starbucks know what 4-H is because we have a project called Lorax, and there is a piece of Lorax is being good to the community, being good to the environment, and being sustainable. Along with within LinkedIn, the messaging in LinkedIn about 4-H right now is amazing. So I don't know who's in LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is kind of the Facebook of the business community, and there is a ton of information that keeps getting forwarded and shared just on what's going on within 4-H like I have never seen it before, which is
awesome.
Yeah,
Woo.
Which is great. And there's a billboard over on Keystone, which is awesome. I passed it the other day. I'm like, look at that.
465 has two of them too down south, and there's one on 65. Yeah. Woohoo!
I always, what's interesting of kind of being in this role, being at Starbucks, you have to talk to people about what 4-H is. Because when you get outside of, and I'm going to say rural communities, and I know we want to make sure we reach everyone, because that was a conversation we had the other day, But I think there's that message of what is 4-H within 2 sentences or 3 sentences, kind of that elevator speech. And I struggled with that for a little bit of trying to tell leaders I work with around why I'm proud to be able to support and lead different things within 4-H.
I have to brag because this picture that you guys see on the screen and that's on the PowerPoint, that is last year's picture. From Day of Service. National 4-H picked up our picture and used our picture. They didn't tag us in it. That's okay, National 4-H. But it's our kids, like on National 4-H's Facebook page and Instagram page. It was way cool to see that. Awesome. It was very awesome to have Hendricks County represented. Again, sad they didn't tag us, but way cool. Indiana was represented, and it was Hendricks County. So that was really awesome that our kids got some National 4-H recognition for participating in the Day of Service. Yeah, absolutely. And I think kids have a lot of fun. There is a save the date back there, and you guys should be seeing this in the newsletter. You should be seeing it pretty much from now until April. I think we'll do maybe a sign up once it gets a little bit closer, but save the date. All of this information will also be available online. Did you have anything else to add to that? All right. The last thing I wanted to talk about with citizen or civic engagement are some state opportunities. So there are several state 4-H trips related to civic engagement. I actually sit on the civic engagement team for Indiana 4-H. So I get some insight and help get to plan some of these awesome trips. One that's coming up is for high school students. It's called Start Local, Go Global Civic Engagement at 4-H Academy. So the 4-H Academy workshops. This one is very specific to really government. We start at the local level, work all the way up to national, international discussions of the voices or the youth's voice in civic engagement and what that means and what that looks like. They get to go tour the courthouse up in Lafayette. They get to meet with a judge. They talk with a county commissioner, a county councilman, and they get to create somewhat of an action plan that they will then bring back to their community on what they want to see improved within their community. So really awesome opportunity. And we actually send kids at a very discounted price in Hendricks County to 4-H Academy and to Start Local, Go Global. So if you have high school kids in your club that are interested in civic engagement, government, this is the opportunity for them. CWF is Citizenship Washington Focus. Every year we've sent, I think, at least one youth to Citizenship Washington Focus. I know we've had a couple 4-Hers from Hendricks County go and just have a blast. It's an awesome opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. and see it in a different way than maybe on a school trip. We've got the Global Gateway, which is our Heifer Kids. So the past couple of years, we've sent a team to Heifer International. This year, they're not going to Perryville, Arkansas, but they are headed up to Howell, Michigan, where they still get to be involved in Heifer International and learn about hunger and poverty around the world. And then for the past couple of years in the fall, we've had a leadership summit at the state, which is open to volunteers and youth to really just discuss what's going on around the state. So there's different breakout sessions related to leadership, related to club leaders, related to youth development. Becky Daly was recognized as one of our national award winners for some of her club work at this event. So just a great opportunity to, again, bridge that civic engagement, leadership, and tie it all together. And there's usually programming around all of the different mission areas as well. So, then how can you incorporate civic engagement in your club specifically? Things like officer training, talking about parliamentary procedure, educational opportunities related to government or civic responsibility. So maybe you take a tour of the courthouse, maybe you bring in someone to speak about what they do in a government position. Club community service projects are great. And then finally, projects related to civic engagement. So example, recycling. Scott's done some awesome stuff with recycling. He is one of our project leaders for that. And I think last year people took apart a refrigerator?
Dishwasher.
Dishwasher,
Yep.
Yes, and learned what was recycling.
What could be recycled. So if you threw it away, it was worth about $10. But if you took all the pieces apart, it was recycled and it was about $80 from a recycled piece. But it was interesting to see what 4-Hers wanted to reuse and make out of something different. So we had somebody braid the wiring harness into a 4-H project last year. We had a kid take the big tub from the dishwasher and want to make a chair out of it. So again, kind of letting folks use hands and tools and figure out how things go together and actually watch young minds like what would I reuse that for rather than throw away kind of in the disposable society we are today.
Yeah, so incorporating some of those projects into your club are a great way. If you have kids in the recycling project, it's a great opportunity for them to talk about what they're doing in the project, maybe how they have recycled whatever project it is they're working on, another way to get the youth involved. Utilize our civic engagement coordinator and participate in National 4-H Day of Service. Again, this is just going to be an awesome opportunity. We're really excited about this year, hoping to grow it a lot. Hoping to get new things out there, give kids a chance to try new things. As you can see, we have them building birdhouses. This was 2 years ago. I think this was our first one. And they just had a blast doing it. So awesome opportunities. All right. Anything else civic engagement wise?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you, Scott, very much.
Thank you, Katie.
All right. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Patty, who is going to talk about STEM. I can't remember. Am I introing you? You just did. Oh, okay. Yay. You want to click?
Am I clicking?
You're clicking this.
That.
Yes.
Which?
So this button right there. Okay. Yep. And then I will click here.
Okay.
Okay. So, no, it's not working. I don't know why it's not working. It's okay.
They're seeing me?
No.
Okay. So I'm Patty Breslin, and I have an engineering background. I volunteered to get involved in Hendricks County 4-H STEM in the fall of 2018, and I'm going to talk about some of the growth that we've seen since then. What is STEM? First of all, you've heard the buzzword. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. What is STEM in 4-H? Well, first of all, it's experiential, very hands-on, and it is inquiry-based. So we ask the questions why and what if. And finally, it also has the science standards-based. Since 2008, National 4-H recognized that we needed to do more STEM programming, and they worked to develop materials, and they partnered with several businesses, and the most recent one was Google, and they provided materials for a National Youth Science Day, and we've had those materials available every year since 2008. Locally, as Katie mentioned before, we have a robotics program, and it has also grown every year. This is a program where students and youth create robots using Legos, and then they program them to do different challenges. In 2018, we tried a Team Tech Teen.
Team Tech
Okay,
Team, yeah.
And that has evolved into getting more junior leaders involved to help us with STEM events and STEM programs. Last year, as Katie said, we had a lot of things start happening. We had a family STEM day that was kind of a makerspace and sharing some of the technology with people, open to the public. We had a STEM and nature program, which focused on weather and water, where we brought in some outside people and some state people 4-H to help us with some programs, which was a lot of fun. We also offered STEM activities at the fair this year, and Scott and Recycling kind of joined us for one of the days. We had a really good time, and the kids really enjoyed. He brought some things that they could take apart and just had a lot of fun. So exploring a lot of different STEM activities and things that we have. And we also did have another Youth Science Day in October where we taught computer programming. So this year, we are really excited. One of our goals is to expand STEM out into the community a little bit more. And so what we're doing is we have scheduled quarterly programs, and we're going to have them at different locations around the county rather than just here at the fairgrounds. I'm going to talk a little bit about the one that's coming up in February, but we also have a STEM and nature program that we're going to try to have at Picard Park in April, and we're going to be back at the fair as well in July, and again, National Youth Science Day in October. And then to increase the use of our STEM resources, we are working on developing a STEM Spark program right now, and we also have come up with some club STEM kits. And this is an example, and I'm going to spend more time talking about that in a few minutes, and we will have a checkout system that people can check out some of these materials to use at club meetings. So I'm, again, really excited. We have coming up in 1 week, next Monday, Diversity in STEM, and this is on President's Day when most of the schools do not have school, and we've scheduled it from 3 to 5 p.m. It is going to have a panel of people from industry that work in STEM careers, so people are exposed to different STEM careers. We're going to have some demonstrations on 3D printing. We will have hands-on 3D pens where they can create some things using a 3D pen. And we do have a local 4-H youth who actually designs and creates objects using a 3D printer. And he's going to demonstrate some of the things that he's done. So we're excited to offer that as part of our programming. This is going to be at the Well Community Center in Brownsburg next Monday from 3 to 5. Oh. How did I get so far?
There you go. You're good.
All right. So we have created for clubs STEM kits, emphasizing you do not need to be a STEM expert. We have them, we're going to have them available at the extension office for checkout. There will be grab and go instructions, like a 1-page, here's what you do. And they will have activities for all age levels. So anybody in your club can do the activities. In fact, we've kind of set it up so that the older club members can help some of the younger ones, give a little bit of leadership opportunities for the older kids in your club. And we have 6 activities that we're starting with. We may be including some others over time, but right now we have 6. And I'll spend a little bit of time talking about each one of those. The thing I want to point out is that I know talking to different club leaders, this is really outside of people's comfort zone, the whole concept of a STEM at your club meeting. And we've set this up really to be youth-led. And so you don't have to be the expert, and we want them to problem solve. If something doesn't work quite the way they expect, we want them to deal with the problem. We want them to explore. We want them to just try things. You know, kids don't like to read instructions. They want to just jump right in. So this is their opportunity to do. And as a leader, all you need to do, your job, is to come pick up the materials at the extension office, provide the space for them to do this, and then just let them go and encourage them if they get frustrated, and also to learn right alongside the youth and participate. In other words, just have fun with them. So we're really excited about those. First one that we're going to have are 3D pens. We've got the kit right here, and what you do with the 3D pens is you create a base that's 2-dimensional, and then you build upon it. Essentially, it is plastic filament that gets heated up and then comes out the other end of the pen, and you just use it. I liken it to a glue gun, if you're familiar, where it starts out as a solid, liquefies, you spread it, and then it hardens. This is kind of the same principle. And it really encourages creativity. Ozobots is another one. These are little tiny color sensing robots, and you program them using a color language just on a piece of paper. So they're using markers, drawing. It's very creative, yet they're learning actually how to computer program because the language is color, using black, green, red, and blue. And that's it. So it's pretty simple, a lot of fun. Hex bugs. So these hex bugs really, it's the physics of vibration. And that's how they work. And they simulate randomness. So I sort of liken this to herding animals. You don't really control them, you just sort of try to corral them. So the kits are the kind of designed so that they can design corrals or mazes or habitats in order to control these things in sort of a little mini environment. Snap circuits. We have some examples up here, and this is to give an opportunity to explore electricity and create circuits, basically giving them kind of a macro view of things that you would see in any electronic device that you've got out there, phones, tablets, sensors, anything. And then they get to try and see how it works. Kiva planks are construction devices, I guess. And what's interesting about Kiva planks is they're one size, small wooden planks. They have no connectors. One of the things that's interesting about these is that it really demonstrates construction principles and the importance of creating stability when you don't have connectors. So think about a brick wall, how it stays together even if you didn't have mortar. Kind of that same kind of principle. A lot of fun. You can see it can create a whole lot of different things. And finally, straw structures. So this would be making structures, and these do have connectors. We have some up here that you can kind of see them. And again, demonstrates kind of the principles of construction, this being the importance of building a firm foundation. So if you don't have a firm foundation, things kind of fall over. But again, they get to experience it, they get to create different things, and it can be to their wildest imaginations. I will point out, we are going to provide a resource sheet, and this will be on the website, and we have handouts of this. And this is a list of all of the things that we have available. It gives you just a one-page, give you some ideas, how might I incorporate that in my meetings. And it does have the checkout procedure on the back as well. So it gives you the list of what we have as well as the checkout procedure.
Can I add something real quick, Patty? Yeah. So when you guys, if you would like to check it out for your club, and those of you online, I'm sorry, my camera's having a tough time tonight, but we'll get pictures and stuff uploaded. It would be a tote like this or something very similar where everything you would need for the most part, unless you're wanting to do an activity you found online or found somewhere else, it would have everything you need in it, grab and go, ready to implement in a club.
So I wanted to really quickly mention, if we have youth that are really interested in STEM beyond what we're offering in Hendricks County, there are a lot of programs at the state level, and Katie's been sending a lot of this information out to people that they can, that youth can register for. But I just want to touch on 4-H Academy. It's geared for 9th through 12th graders, high school age. They have several different programs, but several of them are STEM related, including computer science and one this year called Stemming Out. There's also Experience 4-H at Purdue, which is geared to slightly younger students where they're exposed to Purdue as a college campus, but also they're exposed to careers, and a lot of those careers are STEM careers. There's also a program called Teens as Teachers, where the youth go in for a weekend and delve deeply into a subject, a topic, and then out of that, they get tools that they can come back and then teach that topic at a local level. And we're excited about this, especially with some of the STEM topics, that if we can get some students to go as a group, then they can come back and be able to provide some of that education. They're also working at a state level to develop more coding programs to teach computer programming and coding, and rolling those out to different clubs in the counties. Yeah. We're excited about those. Finally, as leaders, what can you do to help on our 4-H STEM mission? The first thing you can do is at your meetings, use the STEM kits. We're trying to get these resources that we have out and used by a lot more people. And you can also encourage your youth to attend STEM programs and bring a friend, because this is a great opportunity to expose other people, as Scott was saying, to 4-H that are beyond the typical, agriculture. And we have a lot more things going on to invite people to say, hey, this is what 4-H is all about. In general, promoting STEM and 4-H events using social media, as was covered in last month's presentation that your club might be involved in. And we also need help identifying other STEM resources. We're looking to partner with businesses, with schools, with other nonprofit organizations to increase the use of our STEM resources and also just promote 4-H and STEM. We're looking for more adults that are working in STEM for their careers, so they could be available for maybe guest speakers for us or perhaps volunteering. And we're also looking for locations for other programs. We've identified, the Well community, Picard Park, some of the other Avon Township, Plainfield. We're trying to get some other locations. If you have any ideas, we also, again, always need more volunteers, as everybody says. If you have ideas, please contact Katie and with any of your STEM ideas.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there will be time for Q&A with everyone at the end as well. Surprise. So the last thing we're going to talk about is healthy living. So this is something, like I said, we do not have a current coordinator for, but it is one of our mission areas that is important to discuss. So some things that we have done in the past related to healthy living. We have done a Color Me Green Dash. We've done that pretty much since I've got here. It started out, the state 4-H office supplied green, like that color paint, that if you do a color run, they would supply that and the t-shirts. And the idea was to have a healthy living activity related to Color Me Green Dash. We have since then took it and we really do it with our minis. The minis have a lot of fun with it. We have about a mile loop we actually have roped off around the fairgrounds, and so we've had minis, like 60 minis, running around getting color splashed on them. Usually a lot more color ends up on my junior leaders that are tossing the color, but it's still a lot of fun for everyone. And it gets them out, gets them moving. In that team kit, again, there's a healthy living section because this is a main mission area. So we've had that available to club leaders. We have had last year we did our life lesson sessions for our high school students, and we had one of those specifically focused on stress management because we know that that's really important for youth to be aware of, and especially with their busy schedules. Future events or coming up events, we do have the Color Me Green. So every year we focus on Mini 4-H on different areas. This year it's focused on project-based. Next year we'll focus on the mission areas. So the Color Me Green Dash always ties in really well, obviously, with the healthy living aspect. We are going to be doing some mental health awareness with our junior leader program. And then we are in need of a Hendricks County 4-H healthy living coordinator. So what that would look like, just like Scott and Patty kind of talked about, it'd be someone who's passionate about healthy living and passionate about educating youth about the healthy living topics covered in 4-H. And they might be able to help brainstorm some ways we can create new programs, maybe engage current youth that we have in different ways related to healthy living topics. Some state activities related to healthy living. At 4-H Academy, they have added 2 new healthy living topics. One I know is Intro to EMS, and I'm totally drawing a blank on the other one. But those actually have been filling up. I think it's Health Careers. Those have been filling up really fast. They are a couple of the ones that fill up the quickest. So if you have kids that are interested in healthy living topics and they're in high school and would like to attend 4-H Academy in one of those careers or sections, tell them to get their paperwork in ASAP because we want to make sure we can get those registered and ready to go. Mental health trainings, there are some coming up for educators, and as we learn more, there is supposed to be some coming out for volunteers as well. Just educating our volunteers about mental health in youth and how we can work with all different youth and prepare for maybe things we should say, things we shouldn't say, to make sure our youth are having a positive experience in our 4-H program. Patty mentioned Teens as Teachers. There is a Healthy Living track to the Teens as Teachers program as well. We did have a group that was really interested in that track this year, but the track was full by the time we got them registered. So maybe next year. Some ways to incorporate healthy living into your club meetings. If you have snacks at your club, maybe try a healthy snack instead of candy for everyone as they're leaving and walking out the door. Conduct health-related activities, so even just get out and, taking a walk, or if you have a mixer, making it something where the kids can get up and move around instead of just staying seated the entire meeting. Have guest speakers come in that are connected to healthy living concepts. Maybe it's somebody from a hospital. Maybe it's somebody that was a nurse. Maybe it's somebody that their passion is running and they're going to come teach kids about proper running form. Maybe it's someone to come in and talk about mental health. And one resource I have for you guys tonight, and will also be uploaded online for those not able to join us in person, there is a black and white copy available tonight. The color copy of the National 4-H Healthy Living Activity Guide is available tonight. It's also available on National 4-H's website, but it has a bunch of easy activities that you could incorporate in your club meetings. Some of them do require more time, but are great, again, resources for you as club leaders, even to give to your 4-Hers and your 4-H families as they start thinking about healthy living activities. So we talked about there were a couple other mission areas that weren't official. Agriculture is obviously, we have been rooted in agriculture. We've grown a lot since our start in agriculture, but we still think that that's very important in 4-H. Check out the State 4-H website. It's going to be a link listed here on one of the last slides. And it is available even if you just Google Indiana 4-H. There's a volunteer tab up there. It has a ton of resources for not only agriculture, but some of the STEM stuff, civic engagement, healthy living. There's a whole mission area pretty much of resources for volunteers. Have guest speakers highlight ag. Maybe you partner with one of the livestock clubs that we have in Hendricks County to come in and educate about what they're doing and their specific species. Maybe you have someone come in and talk about another agricultural related topic. Highlight ag projects. Again, we're rooted in agriculture. We come from agriculture. We've grown a lot, but we still have those ag-based programs and projects that we do in 4-H. And there are several 4-H trip opportunities related to agriculture as well. College and career preparation. A great opportunity to bring in guest speakers. As again, colleges, I will say it doesn't have to be Purdue. Career-oriented people maybe junior leaders are working on putting together a local business panel at one of their upcoming meetings to talk about development of how they came to be in business, and they're going to be doing business cards of 4-H, so exciting opportunity for them. We do have the Next Steps Night, which happens in December for our high school kids. It talks about the next steps you could take after high school, so college, workforce. We have a military person come in, and then we have a college student panel as well. So just an opportunity for 4-Hers and their families to figure out maybe what the next steps of their lives are going to be. We have our PLACE program, which is Practical Learning and Career Exploration. This is a Spark program for junior high students. It's one of our new programs with Area 31 Career Center. Last year we had about 66 kids for the 2-day event. 6 of those were current 4-H members. So the rest, their first opportunity to explore 4-H was with our PLACE program. So we were really excited to be able to partner with them to bring some of the life skill development into that PLACE program. And then again, there are several state 4-H opportunities. Almost every 4-H program or every 4-H trip that you attend, whether it's 4-H camp, 4-H academy, 4-H roundup, there's going to be some tie-in to career and college preparation, because we are always trying to get our kids ready for what's going to happen after high school. So some resources for you guys. Here's some links to some things we've talked about tonight. To the handouts we have tonight, we have our STEM checkout kit info available. It'll also be available online. We've got a save the date for the day of service, healthy living activity guide. If you have your team kits, there's lots of resources in there. Again, lots of online resources. There's some additional ones. And there's my contact information in case anybody needs it, doesn't have it already. All right, questions for anybody in the room? For me, Patty or Scott, I'll put them on the spotlight too. So I would say the arts are included. In the official like 4-H guidelines, it's still STEM. But arts are definitely included in there, especially like with straw structures. I mean, you should see some of the things these kids make. The creativity that's involved in there, holy moly. Definitely artistic there. There was one picture I almost put on there. There was a 4-H'er that had made a hat out of one of our teen ones a couple years ago. So I think the arts is very important, but when we look at like our mission areas, it's still officially STEM. But unofficially, again, definitely includes it.
Asked the same question because she has a really, really large club.
Hold on, I'm going to repeat the question for on here as well. So the question was, how many, we have these kits, how many kids per kit would it really allow for? And we have several clubs with varying sizes. Patty, if you want to go ahead, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
For example, the one up there that has the 3D pens, there are 4 pens in the kit. And in general, we were suggesting, 2 people could work on pens at the same time, kind of helping each other, getting ideas. So that would accommodate 8 people, potentially others at different times. So stations, potentially. We did it at stations. Again, it depends on how your meeting, how long your meeting is. We tried a rotation. I piloted this with our club last year. We tried a rotation, and they didn't have much time at each one. And so I don't know, I guess that's something we need to think a little bit more about. How many people, how you might structure the meeting. Or like if we like say make this cross structure. So this is something we thought we needed more because
Yes. So that was something Patty and I talked about when we were putting these kits together too. It would be great. So the Kiva planks and the straw structures are great additional items to your kit. So let's say you want to do the 3D print pins. I would recommend getting the excuse me, the Kiva planks. Excuse me, or the straw structures to go with it.
get them at the same time, because when they're not doing one thing, then they the straw structures and Kiva planks can accommodate a lot of kids working together, and that is really where one person has an idea and then they sort of build on it, and so it really quite a few people.
Yeah. So that would be a thing. If you have a bigger club, get more. Get more kits and you can check them out more. All right. I'm going to stop the recording real quick.